Good evening. Welcome to Words on Whiskey, Series 2, Episode 3. And I'm delighted that you could join us. I'm looking forward to hearing your comments and getting some feedback. And of course, we'll be drawing the winner of our Lambay Irish Whiskey hamper as well during the show. So good luck to everybody there. And obviously, Whiskey Live Dublin is back with us after an absence of over 2 years. And I'm delighted that we have Katie Gibson from the Celtic Whiskey Shop, who's going to tell us all about it and tell us what to expect and how many people are going to be attending and what kind of stands are going to be and what to expect. So, look, I'm delighted that you're with us. Thank you all very much. And if you have any questions, just please post them in. And of course, this is brought to you by Irish Whiskey Magazine, so any support is greatly appreciated. But let's not waste any time and bring in Katie.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm sure your time is very, very precious at this time. And I know you've been up to your eyeballs trying to get ready for, Whiskey Live.
There's not many people I would spare an hour for this week. But no, I'm delighted to be on to chat about the event.
Yeah, well, look, obviously it's an absence of over 2 years since we last had Whiskey Live Dublin, and it has been sorely missed. So tell us some of the challenges that you faced. Obviously, the COVID situation was the main reason, or the reason for all of this.
Yeah, I mean, so it's obviously been, 2 years with a few postponed dates in between that when we really didn't know what was actually happening. So I suppose the first challenge with this time round was the venue. So we've previously had it started out in the Mansion House, and then we moved on to the Printworks in Dublin Castle. And I suppose what we sort of found in 2019 was that, we really kind of, in a way, had outgrown the space. Whiskey Live had just become such a thing, such a well-known show in Ireland that by the time the show rolled round, we were turning away exhibitors and turning away customers. So we needed to find a bigger space that could facilitate, the show's expansion. Yeah. So that was definitely the first challenge because, we did want to keep it close to the city. The Printworks was obviously a fantastic location, city centre. So we're delighted that the RDS will have us this year. It's a great venue, plenty of space. We're in the main hall, hall 1, just off the Marion Road main entrance. So definitely plenty of room for us this year.
Yeah. So I think you're saying this is the 8th occurrence of Whiskey Live Dublin. And, I remember the old Mansion House, certainly the shows there, and then obviously went to the Printworks, which was a much better venue, actually, the Printworks. This one is a much larger venue, and you have over 100 exhibitors. Are they all whiskey exhibitors, or what's the range of people that are exhibiting?
Yeah, so for the most part, so there's 106 exhibitors this year, versus, I suppose, between 60 and 70 exhibitors in 2019. I think I was counting it up yesterday, and there should be nearly maybe 80 different whiskies on show.
Right. Okay.
On tasting. And then we have a couple of the whiskey societies and whiskey groups attending as well. And then we have a few non-whiskey brands this year, which is great. So we have some gin, some craft spirits, some poaching, we have some cream liqueur. So it's great that this year there's actually something for the non-whiskey drinker as well,
Yeah, and of course then you have your food stalls and all the rest as well. And
yeah,
you have a shop as well.
We have a pop-up shop, so that will be run by Celtic Whiskey Shop at the event. So it is a mini off license filled with all the good stuff from the various stands. And we will also have the Dream Dram Bar, which people are very excited about, including all the Celtic Whiskey staff.
So what is that?
So the Dream Dram Bar is essentially, it's run by the Celtic Whiskey Bar and Larder in Killarney.
Yeah.
So what we've done with this is that we're giving customers the chance to try really rare, collectible, limited edition whiskies at a really fair price for a 1 cl measure.
Okay.
So we've brought some really great stuff up from the Celtic Whiskey Bar and from behind the bar that we have down there. And then lots of the exhibitors have also submitted a bottle or two for behind the bar. So we have some really good, exciting whiskies
Oh, I must take a
available.
wander over there now myself, and I'll leave my own stand empty for a while, and I'll spend all my time there.
Yeah, I think we're hoping to actually publish the Dream Dram list tomorrow. So if everyone wants to keep an eye on our socials, they'll see the kind of what's on offer. So we just finalized the list today, and we're very excited for people to find out what's going to be on it.
Yeah, and of course, if people do want to find out more information, Katie, the whiskylivedublin.com is the website, and you can see all the exhibitors, and you can still purchase tickets, and you can still possibly get some tickets for master classes.
Yeah. So there's definitely some tickets left for each of the sessions. The Friday session at the moment is the closest to being sold out. But still some tickets, certainly for the Saturday. And there are a few spots in some of the master classes. So what we are going to do, we would advise to get them in advance, but we will be able to sell some tickets at the reception of the event as well. So if anybody does want to pick up a last minute masterclass ticket or something, they can do so there.
Yeah. And of course, Celtic Whiskey Shop is the brand behind Whiskey Live Dublin. And of course, they've expanded down to Killarney with the Celtic Whiskey Experience. And that's been run by Ali and your team for the last 10 years or so. And really, it has become a real attraction point for consumers, not just from Ireland. You get people coming from abroad to come and visit. What was the big change that you've seen now over the last few years in terms of how Whiskey Live has developed?
I suppose we've seen a much bigger demand. We've had to make, as I said, make bigger space, make room for more brands. There's obviously a lot more distilleries up and coming. There's a lot more craft spirit. We've seen a demand for, not just neat whiskies, but also, different ways of drinking whiskey. So I know this year there's going to be some cocktails, some cocktail sampling happening at some of the stands. And I suppose there's quite like a thirst for knowledge. So, the master classes this year, like we had more proposals for master classes this year than we've ever had. And it's such a hard choice for us to only be able to pick a handful that we can, facilitate during the show itself. So, I mean, it's great that so many brands are interested in sort of educating people about their spirits, but it's always such a tough decision for us to only be able to pick. I think this year we're doing 14 master classes, so it's actually two more than last time. But yeah, so there's some really interesting ones, and you can actually look at all the sort of the blurbs about each of the master classes on whiskylivedublin.com.
Yeah. And then John Doyle is asking to be nice to include an online portion for those that can't make it to Ireland. Well, we do plan on having some interviews and chatting with some people during the show live on our website. So, John, you might want to keep track. And of course, I'm sure you'll have a lot of information on your website as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, we're Celtic Whiskey Shop. We love hosting virtual tastings as well. So we do those throughout the year. And I mean, in November last year, we obviously had Celtic Whiskey Fest, which was a 14-day virtual festival of different tastings each night. So in some shape or form, we'd be hoping to bring that back again this year. So for anybody who can't be there in person, there's certainly plenty to look forward to from Celtic Whiskey. So just make sure that you're following us on socials, because that's where we announce all the good stuff.
Yeah, it's Whiskey Live Dub, isn't it?
Yeah. And the Celtic Whiskey Shop and Celtic Whiskey Dublin. That's where you'll get all the information.
Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about yourself then, Katie, because I think you've been in Celtic Whiskey Shop for 5 years, and you're head of marketing. And I know you're responsible for organising this event, and of course the Irish Whiskey Awards as well, which went off last year with great success. And I know there was 1 year missed there due to COVID. But beyond the events, what's your day-to-day role then in Celtic Whiskey Shop?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, going on 5 years this year in Celtic Whiskey. I suppose my favorite part of working in Celtic Whiskey is just that there really is no 2 days the same. I mean, within Celtic Whiskey, we obviously have so many different branches of the company, and the whole team is involved in so many of the elements. So I mean, we obviously have Celtic Whiskey Shop and our online store. We also have Celtic Whiskey Auction. We have Celtic Whiskey cask sales, which is that's led by Al Higgins and Ali, of course. So we're selling barrels of whiskey now. We've one of them, we're delighted with our cask sales program, actually, and Al will have some very exciting things to announce at Whiskey Live. So there will be a cask sales stand.
Okay.
So, and there'll be some sampling going on there, and some chances to get your hands on some very interesting casks. So there's the cask sales element of Celtic Whiskey. We also have craftbeersdelivered.com, which sort of was born out of COVID, so to speak. So we, there was such a demand there for people, interested in craft beers and not being able to go to bars and all that kind of stuff. So we now have a really large online craft beer delivery service, and we will also be bringing them to Whiskey Live. So for the beer drinkers, we'll have some nice things to sample as well, some treats there. And we also have irishdrinkshop.com, which is a little bit more focused on mixology, cocktails, spirits, using spirits to make really interesting drinks, and learning a little bit about, different liquids from around the world, because not everyone associates Celtic whiskey with liquors, tequila, gin, vodka, but I mean, we do have everything. So
and
I
of course,
suppose
wine and champagnes and
wine
everything
and champagne, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, like, there really is no kind of 2 days the same in Celtic whiskey. So, one day you could be organising the Irish Whiskey Awards, and then the next day you're working on, a social media campaign for craft beer, or, we're hosting a whiskey tasting or something like that. So we're definitely kept on our toes.
Yeah. And the team at Celtic Whiskey Shop is quite large. There's quite a lot of staff, but obviously you have a team that's dedicated towards organising the events. So how much time goes into organising something like this, and what's the process?
So I suppose, just to really highlight, like, the main kind of thing about, organising something like Whiskey Live is just having such a brilliant team. And that's what, Celtic Whiskey is. It's why I love working there. The team are fantastic. And when Whiskey Live comes around, everybody just mucks in, gets involved, and, helps in any way that we can. So everyone from we have the office, we have Jude, Rutherson, all the staff in the warehouse. We have the marketing team, Hannah, of course, Al Higgins, Paul, Alison. We have the auction team. There's just no one is not involved in Whiskey Live, and they are all so brilliant. So we're very lucky that we have such a tight-knit team. But yes, it has massively expanded in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And obviously most of the attendees, the vast majority are Irish whiskey brands, but you do have some American whiskies and some scotches, of course, at the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Buffalo Trace obviously will be there, and they're also hosting a Pappy Van Winkle masterclass and a Buffalo Trace Antique Collection masterclass. Those ones are sold out, just letting everybody know. But we also have quite a few scotches which will be tasted at the Celtic Whiskey Shop stand. So we actually have two big stands this year, number 64 and 65, and at our stands, we have the likes of Glengoyne, we have Tamdhu Smokehead, we have Kilcoman, we have Glenallachie, we'll have Kuriyoshi Japanese whiskey. But yeah, so I mean, the focus would certainly be Irish whiskey and Irish whiskey brands, but there's plenty of, representation from whiskies around the world.
Yeah. And just how big a step is it? You mentioned that you had 60 to 70 last time, going up to 106. Is that just a mammoth jumping effort, or is that,
Yeah.
same process?
I mean, the process is similar. And as I said, like, we all do different elements of the job. But I mean, there, in a way, it's quite easy because there are so many whiskey brands keen to be involved.
Yes.
And, it's fantastic to have that sort of demand. And then it's also great to have the space to be able to include the likes of some of the whiskey societies and clubs that are going to be attending, and having some kind of non-whiskey spirits there before. Whereas, fortunately, before we used to have to be, somewhat selective. We used to have to, whiskey tasting was the priority. So unfortunately, there wasn't necessarily representation there for all the different clubs and societies, which is such a big part of the, the whiskey community now.
Absolutely. And I mean, Celtic Whiskey Shop plays such a vital role, I think, not just in terms of supplying the whiskey, but in terms of the community through your tastings and special bottlings and so forth, and they've been there from the very, very beginning. So the role can't be underplayed at all. But just a quick point that Dave O'Connell brought in. Hi, Dave. Hope you're well.
Hi, Dave.
Dave from Whiskey on the Tracks. So he said he's really looking forward to it, but he just wants to clarify that it's actually in Hall 1 on Merrion Road and not in Simmons Court, just in case people start wondering the wrong way.
To confirm and set the record straight, this is in Hall 1 off the Merrion Road through the main entrance. So I think Simmons Court was potentially initially in talks, and but just to confirm, yes, it's definitely in Hall 1. And when you arrive on the day, there will be plenty of signage to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, and there's parking and everything, I presume. Standard.
So there is parking available. I think I'm told it's about €7 a day.
Yes.
I think the majority of people won't be driving to this event, but
I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, there'll be some.
But there will be parking available for any designated drivers. Yeah.
Excellent. And then Bobby is asking, that's a tricky question. Bobby Miller asking, which is a good cask to invest in at the moment? Certainly, I think we had details of your cask program in a recent issue, and I think very competitively priced your cask program and very transparent in what it is. So again, I think visiting your website, Celtic Whiskey Shop, would be the best place to find out information about the cask programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And our website, we try and give as much information as possible. I will say that we do have some very interesting casks going on sale very soon. So we're looking at putting a few smaller size casks on sale. And we have a few Madeira casks and some PX casks as well. But I suppose the best thing to do is visit our website or get in touch with my colleague Al Higgins. So I'm sure he won't mind me saying that his email address is tastings@celticwhiskeyshop.com. So fire all your cask related questions to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be delighted to get
he'll be delighted
now, just before Whiskey Live. And Ken is saying, with so many stands, will there be enough time to get around all the stalls? Well, yeah, that is going to be possibly. It's 3 hours each session, isn't it?
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it is impossible, I suppose, to get around all of the stands. That's why we wanted to publish the list of exhibitors and let people potentially plan their route. So on arrival, everybody will get an event guide with a map and a listing of what's being tasted at all of the stands, and it'll be fairly quick for somebody to sort of plan out their journey and what they want to hit. But I think 3.5 hours worth of tasting whiskey is certainly more than enough to keep most people happy. So we just might have to miss one or two along the way.
Yeah, of course. And Ryan is asking, what? It's a bit of an unfair question. Obviously, you would recommend visiting the Celtic Whiskey Shop stands, and of course the Irish Whiskey Magazine stand as well. But look, there's so many. It's probably hard to pick out any, and it probably wouldn't be fair. But
well, just on that note, for anybody interested, Ryan will actually be working at one of the Celtic Whiskey Shop stands. So if anybody would like to visit him at stand 64, I'm sure he can recommend plenty of whiskies. So I think he's that's a bit of a trick question there, but I think Ryan will certainly have some good recommendations from the Celtic Whiskey Shop stand. So
yeah, I think he put himself on the spot there. Yeah.
Look,
one very important element of the whole thing, it's great and it's brilliant for distilleries and visitors to combine and mix and get to meet and learn about each other. But one very important element, and I know it's it's always been very close to Celtic Whiskey Shop, is the charity element of it. And could you tell us a little bit about the charities that are and how money is going to be raised for the charities this year?
Of course, yeah, it's a really important, if not the most important element of the event for us. So €10, a minimum of €10 from every ticket purchased will be donated to our charity partner at the event, which is Down Syndrome Dublin. So we've always partnered with them. It's a charity very close to us. They're a fabulous organization, a really great team to work with. So what we do every year, apart from the proceeds from some of the ticket sales, we will also do a charity raffle at every session of Whiskey Live, which is always great fun. So if not all the exhibitors will donate some sort of a prize. So we have some fabulous prizes. We'll do a raffle at the end of each session, and the volunteers from Down Syndrome Dublin will be selling raffle tickets throughout the event. So all of the money raised from that raffle will also be donated. And I suppose what the work that Down Syndrome Dublin do is they just support families and people of all ages with various, therapies, activities, outings, all of these things. And it's great to be able to raise some money for them. So, I mean, I think Whiskey Live 2019, we raised just over €23,000 for the charity. So hopefully with this year being bigger and better, we'll be able to, it would be fabulous to double that. So we're really, really hoping that people will get behind us. And I would recommend everyone to carry a little bit of cash. I know those days are somewhat dwindling now, but if everybody could carry a few bob just to buy some raffle tickets, we'd really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, look, it's a really worthwhile cause, and I know it's always well supported. If you're going, please do support the cause. It's a fantastic cause, and I know that you've always supported them, and the money is well spent and much appreciated. Of course, you do normally a bottling as well. The proceeds go towards that as well, the 21C.
Yeah, absolutely. So the proceeds from 21C actually go to Down Syndrome Ireland, so the overall organization. So we released the 2021 edition, I think it was October-ish. So that's single cask. So there won't be a new bottling at this Whiskey Live, but we will be releasing another one this year further down the line. So all of the proceeds then, so we get whiskey from the distilleries around Ireland, and we create this sort of master all Ireland blend, if you will, and we bottle it, and 100% of the proceeds then are donated to Down Syndrome Ireland. So
what have been the challenges, I suppose, over the last 2 years, Katie, in terms of one, the store, and secondly in terms of actually finding a new venue? And then obviously you were supposed to go in March at one point with the show.
Yeah.
It was postponed till now this weekend. What was the reasoning behind that? And
So I suppose, yeah, I mean, that was a really difficult decision, and it was a call that we had to make at the time. So after Christmas, obviously the COVID situation wasn't great in Ireland. Cases were really, really high, and the venue just needed confirmation. Do you want to chance it and do it in March, or do you want to try and book in another available weekend later in the year when hopefully things would have cleared up?
Yeah.
So it was a tough decision to make, but we didn't want to gamble. We had put Whiskey Live off, for 2 years, and we really wanted to do it right this year and kind of give it the comeback that it deserved. So at the time, we just made the call to just postpone, and just hope that with the weather being nicer and giving it just that little bit of extra time, that we could go ahead. And I really hope that it will be everything that we've worked for, and it'll be exactly what we were hoping to have in March, but just a few months later. But it'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, by the list of attendees and exhibitors, it's going to be fabulous. So just a quick question. Obviously, the question from Eric is asking, is this going to be the date going forward, or do you plan to revert to November, or what are the plans?
I think we don't have an official date for next year. But I think we will probably like to look at maybe sometime between maybe March and May. Obviously doing it in June, there are so many other things happening in Ireland at the moment, lots of other festivals and stuff like that. So maybe doing it that little bit earlier next year might be an option for us. But we would hope to lock in those dates, very shortly after this show is finished. So
when did you actually start the process, Katie, of actually getting the attendees list, getting the exhibitors, and starting to make the push?
I mean, I suppose in general, it takes, months and months. You really would want to be almost organizing a good year in advance.
Right.
So, I mean, it won't be, we might give ourselves a couple of weeks, to recover after this
Yeah, I hope you
weekend.
do.
But
Yeah.
it won't be too long before we're all talking Whiskey Live Dublin 2023. It is a long process. You also want to give it the time and the effort that it deserves. So between that and the Irish Whiskey Awards, we always try to give ourselves a good sort of, at least 8 months to a year to pull it together.
Yeah. Of course, you mentioned there the Irish Whiskey Awards, which we had last year. Is that going to occur this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have some exciting announcements to make, which will be made in the next week or so. We just need to sort of lock in a date. But, the Irish Whiskey Awards usually falls in October, November. Yes. So we will be probably sticking to that, and we will be announcing the venue, and then we will start to take in submissions and get that ball rolling and get that process started.
Very good, very good. And then the money that's raised then for the charity, that'll be announced shortly after Whiskey Live, I presume.
Yeah. It takes a little bit of time to finalize all the extra proceeds and stuff like that. But yeah, we would always try to do it as soon as possible. And when we do, we definitely we release a press release, and we post it on socials, and it's a very proud day for us, the day that we get to hand over that check. So yeah, absolutely, we'd be aiming to do it quite shortly after the event.
Yeah. It looks like things are starting to return to normal now, and obviously the shop is open, and your business is returning to normal. And any plans then down the road in terms of what Celtic Whiskey Shop are doing? Or you mentioned the casks, you mentioned the 21C bottle, and you mentioned the awards. Is there anything else that's happening that you might give us enlightenment on?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're always sort of expanding, and I suppose what we're trying to do at the moment is just really give things like Celtic Whiskey Auction and the cask sales program, like a lot more attention, make people more aware of what we're doing. Again, this year we're going to have a Celtic whiskey auction stand at Whiskey Live, so people can head to the stand and talk to Jack and learn how to, you know, to buy and sell their whiskies and their spirits, and how that process works. We will also be organising, as I said, we'd be hoping to bring back Celtic Whiskey Fest in some shape or form. You know, the virtual tastings are just, we love to do them, and it's a great way we get the Celtic Whiskey Bar and Larder involved in those. And they're a great gift for people. The packaging is great. The taste, like, you know, we get some really fantastic whiskies to taste, and it's a great way to have an interactive experience as well with the distillers and the brand ambassadors and stuff. So we will be looking to bring that back. And however, we might spread it out a little bit more this time. I think a tasting every night for 2 weeks is a lot to handle. So
it is, yeah.
We will definitely be bringing that back, and we're also bringing back other things that we did before COVID, like our in-store tastings. We'd be hoping to bring back our live tastings, and you know.
Yes, you always have, and you always have your own bottlings of something throughout the year as well. That
yes,
I'm sure I'm not going to get any information about.
I without giving away too much, we actually will be sampling some of our new Celtic casks at Whiskey Live at the Celtic Whiskey Shop stand. So we have managed to get some of the, you know, a sneak preview of a couple of them. So we'll have some whiskies. There will also be a single cask rum, a Celtic cask rum. So we have, there will be a selection of them on tasting throughout the weekend, but certainly a bit of a surprise for consumers. So just call over to the stand, and the lads will fill you in and get the inside scoop before they hit the shelves.
Yeah, tell me, is the exhibition taking up the full hall? Is it?
Yes, yeah. The full hall will be mapped out. Now, we wanted to make sure that there was plenty of sort of room for people to move freely and not be too crowded, and you know, that kind of thing. So we have, as I said, 106 stands. We have 4 food trucks and coffee vendors, that kind of thing. And then the masterclass rooms will just take place slightly off site, so they're connected to the main hall, but they will be just slightly off the main hall.
Yeah, very good. Well, what have you enjoyed most about the what are you most proud of in terms of the shows and actually the Whiskey Live Dublin?
I suppose, I mean, I think as a team, like I know from previous years, like my proudest moment, and I think the team would all agree, is just as we're about to open the first session, you know, on Friday at about 6 o'clock, when we start to let the first kind of group of people in, and the show is ready to go and everyone is excited, and that's it. Like, that's always a very proud moment for us, because it really does take so much work for us all to put in. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think at that moment, you know, I'll certainly breathe a sigh of relief that, you know, we got there. But I think for the thing that we would just really try to push is the charity element. Like, it's not easy to raise money for charities in this day and age. So it's just really important for us that, you know, that maintains its focus, that, you know, what everyone is spending their money on to get to this event, you know, it is worthwhile. We're really helping a great cause, Down Syndrome Dublin, you know.
Yeah. I have a comment there from Brenda. Ask whiskey groups to PM you before committing to investment schemes. Lots of dodgy people out there. I don't know what he's always talking about, cask schemes. Okay. That's Brendan. Hi, Brendan. Yeah, I mean, look, anybody investing has to be careful with any investment. So
absolutely.
Yeah. What's the future for you, Katie? And you kind of started from, you were telling me you studied art history and architecture, and then worked part-time in Celtic Whiskey Shop, and have progressed into, you know, head of marketing with Celtic Whiskey. What is it your plans then for the future there? You happy where you are
Like, I
doing what
mean,
you're doing?
there's certainly enough to keep me ticking over anyway. Yeah, I suppose whiskey sort of found me. It was not necessarily in the plan, but it's it's a great, I think it's a great industry to work in. It's so interesting, it's so colorful.
Yeah,
The people are fantastic. um I definitely like the event side of it. I like bringing people together. I think it's a really, they're interesting projects to work on. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what's in store, but it's very exciting, and I'm excited for some of the stuff that we have in store with Celtic whiskey. Definitely.
yeah. I think when we started in whiskey, probably we never imagined it was going to grow to the scale it has, and the rapidity of growth. But one thing I wanted to point out is, you don't really do very many interviews, Katie, and I know I had to really twist your arm on getting you on the show. I know your time's really busy, but I think I pulled at the emotion strings and pushed the charity side to make you come on. But
Yes.
I do want to thank you for coming on. You're uh, an amazing asset for the Celtic Whiskey Shop. You're always very, very helpful in everything you do, and you do it with such enthusiasm and modesty as well. So from me anyway, and I'm sure from many of us here, thank you very much for all the fantastic work you do there, and both on the charity side, the event side, and in the store as well. So personally
Uh,
for me,
that,
thank you very much. Really, it's a pleasure to always work with you. So thank you very much. And I'm sure Whiskey Live will be a big success, and going forward will be bigger and
I
better.
hope so. Thanks, Sturgis. But I mean, like I've said so many times, like it's the team at Celtic Whiskey. Like,
Mhm.
everybody is just so amazing. The marketing team have been fabulous with like all of the event organization, and the team in the office, the warehouse, everybody. Like it's such a joint effort. So and then of course, like Ali is great. He guides us all, and he keeps us on the straight and narrow. So I mean, it's definitely a group effort from everyone, and I'm very excited for everybody to see what we have in store this year.
Yeah,
You know.
excellent. Well, look, I have one favor to ask of you, Katie. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we announced a competition with Lambay to give away a hamper, and I know you're very trustworthy, and I was hoping that you would be able to help us pick a winner. So
Okay.
I have a spreadsheet here that I want to share somewhere. Um, da-da-da. Oh, here we are. Okay. So, don't allow me to do it. Okay, look, I have a spreadsheet here of 273 names.
Okay.
Can you give me a number between 2 and 273? And we'll be whisking off that lovely hamper prize to one lucky person.
Okay, why don't we go in honor of 21C whiskey? Let's go with the number 21.
Let's go with the number 21. Okay, let me see if I can find it here. 21. And can't find a 21. Hold on. There has to be a 20. Oh, I did. Okay. So the lucky winner from Facebook is Pauline Kennedy, and she'll be receiving this lovely prize that was kindly given to us by Lambay. So they'll be getting that hamper. So thank you very much, Katie, for that. And that hamper will be off to the lucky winner. And of course, if you didn't win here, there will be lots of chances to win at Whiskey Live, and the draw is there. So get lots of Raffle tickets and support a great cause. And I'm sure all the stands are donating some. We'll certainly give something there as well to the stands. So congratulations on that. Wish you the very best luck. And what I wish you more is a very relaxing Sunday, Kate.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have some serious plans to do nothing.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
hope you're going to take a few days off. I'm sure, Ali will give you a few days off, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well,
Who's listening.
we'll discuss that next week. There's always a bit of a clean up on the Monday morning after Whiskey Live, so
Oh, of course.
we have to get all of the stock back to the shop and sort all those bits out and stuff. But no, the break will come for all of us next week.
Yeah.
If just to say, sir, just first of all, thanks so much for having us on today.
No,
And like,
my pleasure.
just if anybody is, looking for information about the event, do jump onto the website, send us a DM on, on our Facebook page or on our Instagram or Twitter. We'll try at the moment, we're getting so many messages and so many emails. It's we're making our way through all of them, but do get in touch if you have any specific questions for us.
Yeah.
And
so they can contact the shop directly. I don't have the number of hands.
The telephone number?
Yeah, or they can just visit the website.
I mean, I'd say Google it, in this day and age, but it's 016759744. But I think probably the fastest way would be to get in touch maybe on socials. There's a few of us sort of trying to get through all of the different questions being asked. But the website has so much great information. There's some really exciting things coming to the event. We have some Irish coffees from Paddy. We have some new distilleries who have not been at the event before. Like I said, the Celtic whiskey shop stand. We will also be serving some Etsu Japanese gin and tonics for the gin and tonic drinker. We have some fantastic whiskeys, single casks, a couple of new releases that we can't really talk about, and they'll all be for sale as well in the pop-up shop, apart from obviously the Celtic casks, which are not on the market yet. So definitely check out.
Visit the site is probably the biggest thing.
The website would definitely, it has all of the information.
Okay, so whiskylivedublin.com. There's a few more tickets available, and of course, you might be lucky to get a seat in one of the master classes if you turn up on the day. And look, if you're a whiskey drinker, this is a must. If you're living in Ireland and even from abroad, you're going to have people coming from abroad, I'm sure, as well. Many visitors from abroad. I know I've got two people sleeping on my couch who are attending, so that's fun and games. But look, thank you very much. Best of luck with it. Thank you for everything, Katie. Congratulations on managing to pull it off in a really difficult time. So it's great to be back. I'm getting more excited now. And of course, if anybody's there, come and visit us as well. Stand 28, I think we are. And we'll give you a welcome there. So look forward to seeing you on Friday, Katie.
Okay. Only 2 more sleeps. See you later.
Yes. Take care. Bye. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And thank you to Katie and all the people that have attended here today. And also Celtic Whiskey Shop for putting on what's promising to be a really great show. So onwards and upwards, and we will speak to you next week. Have another show next week. We haven't confirmed yet who it is, or we have confirmed who it is, but we it's an unusual guest, and be worth looking into if you get the chance. So thank you very much. As I said, brought to you by Irish Whiskey Magazine, and we will see you at Whiskey Live, I hope. If not, we'll see you next week. And thanks very much. Take care.